The Colorado Avalanche completed a season for the ages last night by beating the two-time defending champ Lightning in Tampa to win the Cup. And every word of that sentence matters when you talk about the Colorado season. From preseason favorites to sensational regular season to owning the postseason like no other. The Avs went 16-4 during the Stanley Cup playoffs. That's insane. A true juggernaut who delivered, sweeping Nashville, sweeping Connor McDavid and the Oilers, and dethroning the champs. And they beat Tampa at their own game with heart and toughness. Down 1-0 last night, it was a feeling of, uh-oh. But of course, it was the great Nathan MacKinnon, who tied the game in the second period, a superstar. Look, the talent is obviously there, but it's the guts and the guile and the grit that propelled the Avs to this Cup championship. I mean, look, this was the worst team in hockey in 2016-2017. McKinnon's leadership is huge. He's a legend in that regard, and that's not hyperbole. And he helped our guy, Kel McCarr, become a star. I'll tell you something, this kid's got it all. And McKinnon showed him how to be a pro. Of course McCarr won the Conn Smythe as the best player of the postseason with 29 points in 20 games. Just the third player in NHL history to win the Norris Trophy as the best defender and the Conn Smythe in the same year. This is why the Bobby Orr comparisons from puckheads, they stick. And this Bobby Orr we're talking about, that's the ultimate. This cat is worthy. This NHL postseason was simply phenomenal on every single level with the drama and the excitement. The best team not only won, they crushed the competition. Beating Tampa is a huge deal. It's one of the great single-season Stanley Cup championships ever. If this four-game series between the Yankees and Astros was an ALCS preview, and I think it was, count me in. All rise. How about my guy, Aaron Judge, giving the Yankees a sensational and pulsating Sunday afternoon win with this 3-run walk-off bomb. That was good enough for a split with Houston, and frankly, Judge was the sole reason why the Yankees won 2 games. The walk-off on Thursday, and then this dramatic finish yesterday. And please, do not insult my guy Aaron Judge by mentioning anyone else in the conversation for AL MVP. There's a list of 1. And what a win for the Yankees, who are 53-20. 53-20. Third best start after 73 games in the modern era. The Yankees just went 9-4 in a stretch against Houston, Tampa, and Toronto. They're 24-11 against teams over 500. Yesterday was a big deal on the heels of getting no hit. In fact, the Astros no-hit the Yankees for 16 1/3 innings in a row this weekend, going back to Friday. Saturday's no-no, and deep into Sunday before Giancarlo Stanton went deep, and then DJ LeMahieu tied the game with a 2-run jack at 3. The Yankees are the best team in baseball, bar none. But Houston has owned my Yankees in the playoffs. The Astros scare me. That no-hitter matters. I don't want to hear anyone spin it down. The Yankees are an offensive juggernaut. They play great at home. Javier had great stuff, and he was mesmerizing as the starter. Huge for Ryan Presley to get back on track and closing out the no-no. I don't want to hear, oh, it's a 3-pitcher no-hitter. It was big time. And so was this series. If you're an Astros fan, you got to be thrilled. Jose Altuve and Alex Bregman, they come up huge against the Yankees, even with Yankees fans cursing up a storm at them. Houston has the front end pitching and the monsters in the lineup. If you're an Astros fan, this split of the series felt like a huge win. I'm going to be honest, as a Yankee fan, top to bottom, Houston outplayed the Yankees over these 4 games. Not even up for debate. They are, without question, the 2 best teams in the American League, bar none. Don't misinterpret. Yankees are going to the World Series. But this weekend was proof that the one team the Yankees don't want to see in October, the Astros. That, of course, Kevin Durant from his podcast on Friday, saying he has no involvement in the decision-making surrounding Kyrie Irving. And with that comes this today from the great Adrian Wojnarowski, who reports that the Lakers are the only team in the NBA seeking Kyrie Irving in a sign-and-trade deal at this time. And that, of course, is on the heels of the New York Daily News reporting that the Nets gave Kyrie Irving permission to seek a sign-and-trade. Oh, boy. What a mess. Only Kyrie Irving, a layered mess. And there's a lot to get into here, starting with this. Kevin Durant should want to stay if Kyrie leaves. Now, there are reports that KD wants to be traded if Kyrie leaves. Dame dreaming of Durant in Portland. The Celtics would trade Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart for KD. Insanity. Hilarity. Of course Dame wants KD. Of course Boston would make that trade. Of course all of it. Kevin Durant is a top 15 player of all time in his prime, and the Nets' goal this year should be to win a championship with Kevin Durant, without Kyrie Irving, and it's doable. And it's really that simple. If Durant demands a deal, okay, great. Say no. I still wouldn't trade him. Under no circumstance should Sean Marks trade Kevin Durant. And when Sean Marks told the press right after the Nets got swept against Boston that he wanted committed players, come on. You don't believe for a second Sean Marks acted alone. I have to believe that Durant knew what his GM was going to say, and I have to believe that Durant knows, and he certainly knows in this case that Kyrie has blown up the last 2 seasons of his career by not caring about basketball. Durant knows it all behind the scenes and knows that Kyrie has already doomed him. If you have Durant and, I don't know, the Philly version of Ben Simmons on the court, you can win the Eastern Conference because Kevin Durant is that special. And because Kyrie Irving isn't there. It's addition by subtraction, which is why, of course, nobody wants him. Sure, he could seek a sign and trade, and nobody wants to pay him the max money for a part-time player and a full-time disruptor. Why would anyone be surprised by this development? Now, I still think that the always desperate for relevance Clippers would take on Kyrie Irving. And, the Nets can match on a sign and trade some money with role players, and it could work. But Kyrie could actually opt out and sign with the Lakers because they are desperate too, just like Kyrie. And that's why I think the Lakers are putting together a fake show some interest in a sign and trade, knowing the Nets are not going to take their offer, but knowing simultaneously, this is crazy, but it's all happening, that Kyrie just lit his Nike money on fire, half of his Nets contract on fire last year when he didn't get vaccinated. It's wild to think of someone opting out of $36 million on Wednesday, signing for $6 million with the exemption with the Lakers, but that's Kyrie. He makes no sense. If you don't believe me, ask, LeBron. Kyrie had it all with the Cavs, and LeBron had said, you know what? Hell with that. I'm good. Went to Boston. Not enough. Brooklyn? Nah. So this is all wacky. All bizarre. If I'm the Lakers, I would never take on that headache. Heck, they have enough stuff and trouble trying to get Anthony Davis to actually play basketball. But the Lakers are desperate. So is Kyrie. Durant had a chance on his podcast to publicly defend him and say that he wants him. He didn't do it. Now, no team reportedly wants him. Why would they? I'm not going to predict how this ends because logic need not apply when it comes to Kyrie Irving. But I know the Nets are better without Kyrie. And I know the Lakers are desperate. This entire saga is dumb and dumber. So yes, with Kyrie and the Lakers, I'm saying there's a chance. Strong stuff from our guy, Steven Stamkos. I've got a lot to get off my chest on a Monday. Celebrate, appreciate, enjoy the greatness of the Tampa Bay Lightning. What a remarkable special run. And I'm with Stamkos here. It's not over. First of all, making the Stanley Cup final 3 straight years is a monster accomplishment, especially in the salary cap era. It's one of the greatest runs in the history of the NHL. And let's also remember this specific run with regards to trailing Obviously, Toronto 3-2, trailing the Rangers 0-2, and then down 2-0 in game number 3. And you see the resume for the last 3 years, it's kind of like the Warriors, right? You know, it's not over. And if, in fact, this team makes the Stanley Cup final again, or even just, quote-unquote, the Eastern Conference Finals next year or the year after, I mean, that's going to add to the greatness and what John Cooper's bunch was able to accomplish. And with Vasilevsky in his prime, and, you know, remember, Braden Point barely played this postseason. This was an unbelievable, historic run, and it's not over. I got to get this off my chest. The Dodgers taking 2 or 3 from the Braves this weekend, kind of a huge deal. And the fact that they were able to win this game down to their final out against their old friend Kenley Jansen, that was wild. 2-0, and then you saw a single in the ninth, single in the ninth, single in the ninth. The next thing you know, it's tied at 2, setting the stage for these heroics on your screen in extra innings to win this series. Freddie Freeman, as we talked about at length on Friday's sizzling edition of Time to Shine, Freddie Freeman very emotional in his return to Atlanta. And look, Dodgers made a big statement. Able to go into Atlanta, get a series win without Mookie Betts, without Walker Buehler. That was so much fun. Amazing baseball all weekend long. Huge statement that even with the injuries, even with Scherzer and DeGrom working their way back, the LA Dodgers team to beat in the National League. Got to get this off my chest. What an embarrassment in Anaheim yesterday. That brawl with the Angels and Mariners was awful. There's no place in baseball for headhunting. And throwing at Rodriguez's head on the heels of Saturday throwing at Mike Trout's head, that's where the whole thing started. Then Winker was completely out of control. And the fact that he decided to start this melee by charging the dugout, this took 18 minutes. I mean, you had, Anthony Rendon, who's got a cast on his right hand, right arm. He's out for the season, throwing a punch with his left. I mean, all baseball has to do is say, if you leave the bench, or if you leave the dugout, if you leave the bullpen, you're going to be suspended. I actually think, and this is sick, twisted, I don't believe in conspiracy theories, but I think baseball doesn't ban it because they kind of like the attention of baseball on shows like ours. And that's a problem. That was a gory and ugly and pathetic scene for Major League Baseball. Never, ever, ever do you go headhunting. And that, I mean, you got Winker, flipping the fans the double bird. That was just a bad look for otherwise a tremendous weekend in Major League Baseball. I got to get this off my chest. Josh Allen says he is still haunted by losing the coin toss in overtime against the Chiefs in the divisional round last year. He told our friends Bussin' with the Boys on their podcast it still haunts him, and Josh Allen is going to be playing with a chip on his shoulder this year. And let me tell you something, that's bad news for the rest of the NFL. Josh Allen is going to light the league on fire. Josh Allen is going to be the best quarterback in the entire league. Gabe Davis now as the number 2 is awesome. Love the addition of Cook. Love the addition of O.J. Howard. Von Miller on defense. The Buffalo Bills are going to have the best record in the AFC. Home field advantage throughout in the AFC in lovely Western New York because of that attitude, that play, the talent, and the moxie, the determination. He's still angry, and I love it, from my guy, best quarterback in the league, Josh Allen. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell for more videos.